All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. If you're out in Australia or Eastern Asia, happy Monday or Tuesday in that instance.
Yep.
If you've noticed, we are missing one today. Diego has no voice left after the long weekend. But as always, we will start off every show. Naz, how was your weekend? How was your week?
It was good. Mother's Day was great.
Mother's Day was wonderful.
Went to a baseball game. It was
nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my allergies have been all jacked up. If you did not catch us Saturday morning on the pour over, or if you did catch us, you may have noticed I was not my usual chipper morning self. I wound up taking 3 naps on Saturday, but recovered for most of Mother's Day and obviously all the soccer watching. And boy, what a week it was for soccer.
Yeah.
It is. The week was so long that I had forgotten in making the outline for the show today that we actually had Champions League last week as well. So that will be the first part of our week abroad here. The Champions League semifinals have been completed now in their entirety. The second legs were last week on Tuesday and Wednesday, so we will go over those. Arsenal played Atletico Madrid at the Emirates on Tuesday afternoon, and a Bukayo Saka 44th minute goal gave Arsenal a 1-0 victory and a 2-1 aggregate score to advance to their second Champions League final in history.
Yep.
It was what many expected from Arsenal and Atletico.
You could say that, but the last 2 games had more XG produced.
That's what I mean.
It was strange, yeah.
Atleti has actually been, not what a lot of us think of as old school Atletico under Cholo Simeone. They have been leaking goals and scoring goals at a much higher rate, this season. And Arsenal have been a very good, especially of late, more of a bend but do not break defensive line, and that's what showed.
Yeah, I think Ghana, I don't know if are we so far gone that people forget the Italian league of old where the defenses reign supreme.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt. Also,
you're talking about Arsenal, who have allowed 6 total goals in the Champions League this year, and the last 2 goals they allowed were 1 penalty from Sporting and 1 penalty from Atletico.
Yeah, we tend to hyper focus on the here and now.
Yep.
Obviously, the YouTube was not as popular or a thing at all when you talk about really Italian defensive heyday.
Back in the day, YouTube was used to watch goal highlights that were made by fans.
But even with that stuff, just the video quality is not where it is today. So a lot of people will not take the time to look at or research 90s, early 2000s Italian football, or even really, you talk to fans of the game, and a lot of them are so young that or short memory, which is not a bad thing in terms of at least here in America building an audience for the game. But a lot of them don't even know that Leicester City won the league.
I don't. It's weird because you come to America and you think all the sports, there's people out there now that still think that wins from the 90s were just yesterday. Different records and stuff.
Well, I think a lot of that too is based on the age of who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But again, like I said, a lot of, whether it's through content creators like us or a American player making it big, and that brings a crowd. We've gotten a lot of new fans, or all the hullabaloo with the World Cup coming this summer and the Club World Cup last summer. We have a lot of new fans that don't know about Manchester United in the 90s, or Arsenal in the early 2000s, or Liverpool in the 80s, or
you got all these pundits that are like, oh well, if this team wins, no one will talk about them, and it's but nobody's talking about the teams of old either.
No,
you can't the newer fans are more vocal, right? Because again, they're newer to the game.
Right.
They're coming in watching, right? As you develop fans, they tend to watch the teams that are winning, and they become fans of those teams. That's how, unless you're a local, right?
Right.
That tends to be how you choose a favorite team, and you see it in all sports. Right? You see it in all sports. You see it with the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL. You see it with the Dodgers in LA, for the MLB. And that's the thing, is that they tend to gravitate more towards those teams because of that. And like you said, as the older generation still remembers like the Chelsea of old, the Man United of old,
the Metro Stars, exactly.
Yeah, when New England Revolution and LA Galaxy were reigning supreme in the MLS. So
no, it's a good point. And the striking thing to me, again, from someone who has been here for that whole time, is, the one thing that is a constant with Atleti in that whole period is the manager. And for their playing style this past season and a half or so to change as much as it has is very interesting. So Arsenal, congrats to you for making your second final. I believe it was 2006.
Yes,
I think, right?
Funny little note for those watching. The last time Arsenal made a Champions League final, Devil Wears Prada was released.
Yes, I did see that meme.
And here we are, 20 years later, and Devil Wears Prada 2 is being released. And speak of the devil, and
she's an Arsenal fan, right?
She's an Arsenal fan. Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, I couldn't think of her name.
Star of both movies is a Arsenal fan.
Good for what a time to be alive.
Yes.
On the other side of the bracket, we talked about defensive battles. Bayern Munich and PSG had a 5-4 game in the first leg.
Yeah, and then they turned into Arsenal and Atletico in the second.
Their turnaround here in Munich was a 1-1 draw. Ousmane Dembele really took the wind out of the sails of the entire match with his third-minute goal for PSG. Bayern Munich kept pushing. They did get a Harry Kane goal in the 4th minute of stoppage time with still a couple minutes to play after that, but it was not in the cards for them. Mm-hmm. And the 1-1 draw puts PSG to their second consecutive final, 6-5 on aggregate, and their third final in the Champions League in their young history. I believe it was Thomas Tuchel who brought them to their first final when they lost to Man City? I want to say they lost to Man City in a final. Now I got to look it up. Let's see.
Yo, Danny, how's it going?
Oh, Danny! PSG. Oh, that was the 2020 final with Bayern Munich. It was. I'm sorry, not PSG, not Man City. Their third final. They are the current holders of the title.
Yep.
This match will take place on May 30th. That's a Saturday. In New York, it will be at noon.
Yes.
And the match will be played in Budapest, Hungary, at the Puskás Arena.
A lot of pushback on the time, but I understand Hungary is quite a few.
It's further east than many matches have been in the past,
and they want to try to be able to get all of the world.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, speaking of which, as I'm yawning, I don't mind the early kickoff.
Yeah.
Again, if you're on the west coast of the United States, a 9 a.m. kickoff is not ideal. For the biggest club game of the year, but noon for us, that would put it to 5 p.m. For the local time for either of these London, teams. Yep. Well, and Paris as well.
Paris, yeah.
And then I couldn't tell you what
Greece is 8 hours ahead, and Hungary's even more east, I think, right?
Yeah, let me see.
Or is that
Budapest time zone? Let's see what comes up. So they are 7 hours.
Okay, so
different.
They're north. Okay.
Yeah. So, but also I'm just thinking in terms of like the Asian Hungary time to, let's just put in Tokyo.
Oh yes, if you want to drive there, it's 12,732 kilometers.
it's another 7 hours.
Okay, so 7 p.m.
So that would be a
So it would
midnight
be able to get-
kickoff. If I had no, is that midnight or 2? We said it's a 7-hour difference.
So it's 14 hours.
So yeah, so it's a 2 a.m. kickoff for the. So it really, I would think, is more about Western Europe, London, Paris,
And the U.S.
I don't think they care too much about the U.S.
Well, think about it. If it's noon here, that's still 9 a.m. Still, people can cook it.
Yeah. I mean, it normally would have been like a 2 p.m. kickoff here in New York. So either way, we will certainly be open for it. We might even open a little bit early now to get that crowd coming in.
Well, I mean, we'll be here anyways.
I mean,
with the pour over probably.
Yeah, maybe we'll do something live upstairs.
The final.
Yeah, maybe we'll do
of the
something live
season,
upstairs. With a little bit later kickoff.
Yeah, because that's what 4 days after the finish of.
4? No, it should be the week after, I would think.
Okay.
Right? Because it'll be a Saturday to Saturday. I don't think there'll be any midweek matches in
right, yeah.
at least in the Premier League. So yeah, looking forward to it. I have reached out to a couple former Champions League players to see, that do have spent some time in the New York area to see if they want to come hang out. Yeah. Thierry Henry, unfortunately for us, will be probably fulfilling his, although I don't know. I'm curious to see, because he famously, still is a big Arsenal fan and supporter. I wonder if he will be able to.
Better be. He's their legend.
No, I know, but will he?
That's like saying Wayne Rooney's not a Man United fan.
Will he, stick to his Paramount Plus, job, or will they have him out on the field? Will they have him?
I think they'll have. I think they're having him on location.
It'll be.
Well,
actually, now that I say that, I would assume the whole crew will be on location. Yes. But will he be with the other guys, with Jamie Carragher, with Kate Scott,
yes.
Or will he be with a team, or will he? He is also a part owner of Como, so you never know what he's got up his sleeve. But at any rate, that will do it for the Champions League semifinals, and we are now officially 19 days out to the Champions League final between Arsenal and PSG. I have not seen who's going to be wearing what colors. My assumption would be Arsenal will be in their red and PSG will be in a dark blue kit.
Yeah,
but you never know with these things, and that is well beyond the decision making of you and I, Naz. All right, match day 36 for the Premier League is also now officially in the books as of about 7 minutes ago, 8 minutes. Oh, no, probably 20 minutes ago now at this point. We will kick off with the Saturday matches. Brighton and Hove Albion against last place Wolves.
Yep.
And Brighton got it going early and often. A first-minute goal from Jack Hinchelwood really was all they would need, but Lewis Dunk added one in the 5th, and Yankuba Minte in the 86th minute. 3-0 comprehensive victory. And, obviously we'll take everything with a grain of salt that is playing against Wolves, but Brighton back to winning ways, looking good doing it, as they've continued to fight for those last couple of European spots. Liverpool-Chelsea, 1-1 draw, which for a lot of the other teams in that range are absolutely thrilled with. The 6th-minute goal from Ryan Gravenberch, Enzo Fernandez in the 35th to bring it back to 1-1 for Chelsea's goal. And Liverpool, and really both Liverpool and Chelsea, both just kind of looking done for the year. Actually, on my way in this morning, I heard Adrian Heath, actually an Everton fan, former MLS manager, on SiriusXM FC this morning, saying basically when, and not to be the old get off my lawn guy, but in my generation, when Liverpool and Chelsea played, it was the best players in the world.
Yeah.
It was Gerrard, it was John Terry, it was Torres, Hazard, it was Gerrard. Yeah. You had all these world beaters.
I mean, and to be fair, the Liverpool and Chelsea that we saw last time also is technically still world stars. The only issue is that, again, it's not I think all of these teams have such big names on them now. There's no legends anymore. Like, there's no like single
don't agree
player.
with that.
Like, I mean, okay.
You don't. Your point is not completely off, but
My thing is
for
like
the
again,
amount of money that Liverpool and Chelsea have spent in the last 2+ years.
Yep.
Where is the world-class star in that?
Okay, so Van Dijk's still not a world-class star?
No.
Salah?
No.
Not anymore?
You're going to tell me, would you take Salah or Van Dijk at Arsenal?
I mean, in their prime, yeah.
But they're not.
Okay.
That's what I mean. So all the money they spent,
Yeah.
they've spent probably between the two squads, let's call it, I don't know.
You also got to understand that Ekitike is injured. Isaac just got back, and if you saw his knee, you know he's not going to be the Isaac of old. There's no way.
It's not me that made the point.
Yeah.
I do agree with it though, in terms of like,
yes.
I
think Chelsea, in honesty, I think Chelsea was more interested in what name could we bring in for money.
Yeah.
And that got them off the track of bringing in actual talent. And Liverpool, again, coming off of their winning season, I think right now they're in that weird. They're still stuck in that weird phase of like Arne Slot's football and players who played under Klopp.
It's one of those things where, when like you just keep watching, and then when you hear a pundit say something like that, and it's like, oh shit, like. Yeah, where is that money going that they're spending on all these players?
Yeah, but it's the same thing with like City United didn't have the same thing, right? United Liverpool didn't have the same feeling. None of these matches these last couple seasons have had the same like oomph that the Liverpool Chelsea, the Man United Arsenals of the previous.
I don't know. I mean, there might be other factors involved with it.
It could also be, again, like you said, the social media thing. There's so much hype for all these games going now that it's.
No, that's a good point too.
Or the Premier League is just caught, like you said, this is one of the most competitive leagues we've seen this season. At this point, any team is facing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stew on that now a little bit more.
It's not like we see a big six match at the top because the top six are there. And we're facing off. Oh, cool! This is a big six match. It's not Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I mean that's another good point. Obviously United are back in it now, but what we always thought of as the big six, or really the big five plus Spurs until they push themselves into it, is much more fluid now. I mean, we're looking at the top 10 right now, and you have Everton, who is a traditional power, but you have Brentford, Brighton, Bournemouth, Villa haven't been in the conversation in decades. Yeah.
You have three teams that were fighting for relegation a couple weeks ago that are in European finals.
Yeah.
Or we're in European semifinals.
All right. Well, I'll table that. I'll think about it more in our off season because we will have one in a few weeks, and we'll have some. We'll need to fill some time before the World Cup kicks off. So, all right. Elsewhere, Sunderland and Manchester United were scoreless.
There's really nothing we can do about that. Yeah.
No. Enough said. We'll move on to the next match.
Yeah. I think United just pulls off the gas because they're done. They've celebrated their Champions League qualification. They should have a bus that says championship.
An open top bus for the qualification.
Am I hearing it right? Did Newcastle have an open top bus for being runners up one year?
Not to my knowledge.
Hold on. Newcastle celebrating runners up parade.
Oh
yeah.
So Newcastle United have historically held open-top bus parades after losing FA Cup finals in 1998 and 1999.
So awkward.
Yeah, that is I can't imagine.
Is it like, well, we had the parade scheduled, so we might as well go forward with it? Like,
I don't know. Well, here. These parades drew hundreds of thousands of fans, a tradition that Alan Shearer, who is a Newcastle former player and Newcastle legend, described as quote-unquote embarrassing due to the lack of silverware. Yeah. Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, they can host their Champions League qualifier parade.
Yes. Elsewhere in London, Fulham hosting red-hot AFC Bournemouth. This was, for me, a very sticky match that could have gone either way. beforehand. This, it's in my thoughts before the match, and then a pair of red cards within probably 5 or 6 minutes of one another.
I do think Bournemouth did catch a break in getting that second red card because it did.
Oh,
both of them were.
It was it was a deserved red card.
Yeah,
but in terms
the
of
Bournemouth one was clear on, studs up,
Yeah.
into the guy's shin. The Fulham one, it was a red card, deemed red card, but you could have an argument where, again, the guy gets ball, the ball launches the guy's foot up into the shin of the player, but
there is so much precedent on that exact tackle because I agree it's unfortunate, but I think more than anything, what is the defender doing there? You're a man up, even if it's a clear breakaway.
Yeah.
Try to force his way aside, but even if you go down a goal there, you're up a man with 50, 60 minutes left in the match. Let the game play out. In my opinion, obviously, we're on the outside looking in. We're not in the heat of the battle there to see and feel that and get the red mist, as they say. But after that, in the second half, Bournemouth really took it to him. And Hyan, in the 53rd minute, the teenager scores. This is, I believe I saw a stat now that this is the first time ever in Premier League history that 2 teenagers from the same team have scored in 3 consecutive matches. I don't recall if it was this one or from Krupi's goal last week, but the fact that Bournemouth have lost Semenyo to Man City and brought in, they had Krupi all year, but Hyan was the like-for-like replacement when they signed him in the winter, and they are just hit the ground running. It really is incredible to see what Bournemouth have done, are doing, can continue to do. As it stands right now, they are locked in at 6th place, good for Europa League, possibly Champions League, depending on what happens with Villa.
Listen, they're on Villa's heels, and Villa's in a downward trend. A couple of wins could put them in a guaranteed Champions League.
So they are, so the way it works, I think I've mentioned it on this show before, but if Villa win the Europa League and finish 5th, 6th place will be in the Champions League.
Correct.
Or if Bournemouth just overtake Villa, that is a moot point.
Correct.
Listen, Bournemouth could finish 4th this year. It is possible. Yeah. They're only 4 points back. So, anyway, at any rate, great win away from home for Bournemouth there at Fulham, at the Craven Cottage. And we move on. Manchester City hosting Brentford. This was, I know Diego kind of talked about it a little bit on the weekend, that it was a blowout. Honestly, up until that first goal, Brentford looked pretty resolute. They tried sticking to their guns, which sometimes can be a death sentence against a team like Man City. Quite often it takes a team, whether you have the ability or not, to push at Man City rather than sit back, because with the with the power and the players that City have at their disposal, it's a ticking time bomb. And as it was, Jeremy Doku in the 60th, and then come the floodgates, Erling Haaland in the 75th, and Omar Marmoush in the 2nd minute of stoppage time, as Man City win 3-0 to try and keep pace with red-hot Arsenal. They currently now, with a match in hand, are 5 points back. So Arsenal control their own destiny.
Yep.
Man City will obviously look to apply pressure and maybe see if Arsenal slip up. But as it stands right now, this is Arsenal's title to lose. Man City kind of standing alone on an island there in 2nd place, as they are 5 points back of Arsenal, but 9 points ahead of Manchester United. Going up to the northeast,
I think that solidifies City in 2nd place, unless
exactly.
Diego can no longer catch up.
Listen, the FA could come down with something. You never know.
Like I said, they're gonna wait till the end of the season.
Yes.
They're not gonna do it in the season. I have this weird feeling.
Nottingham Forest 1-1 draw with Newcastle. Harvey Barnes scored in the 74th minute to put Newcastle up 1-0, but Elliot Anderson in the 88th minute. And Forest, again, they are now the team that we thought they could have been all season long. Obviously, they've been knocked out of the Conference League.
Yep.
Is it Conference League or Europa League? Now
they were in the
Europa League. Oh, yeah, against Aston Villa. That's
yes.
right. So they did lose 4-0 in the return leg at Villa Park. But, this is the team that we thought we were getting when, they had, under Marinakis, they had all these great players. They had that big run to get into Europe. And then they had a significant fall off early in the season. So a good comeback draw there at home against a good side in Newcastle.
Again, we've been talking about Newcastle for weeks now. They're still in that mode of like, what happened? Like you said, I think this is the last season for their coach, right? Their manager, Eddie Howe.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Eddie Howe.
I think it's going to be. I think from a fan standpoint, it's going to be an interesting offseason
for sure to
see what happens with them.
Yeah. All right, back down to London, Crystal Palace and Everton. This was another back and forth match. Everton away from home score first. James Tarkowski in the 6th minute. Ismail Assar in the 34th. It would go to halftime at 1-1. Obviously, a lot of I don't want to say turmoil with this, but, Palace obviously still in Europe as well. Would they take their foot off the gas? Second half comes. Beto in the 47th minute for Everton, and they go up 2-1. And then Jean-Philippe Mateta, really one of the big stars that Palace do have left, in the 77th minute, 2-2. All the spoils were shared, and Palace and Everton both get the point. Palace now in 15th on 44 points, whereas Everton, who up until 2 weeks ago had real promise for Europe, have quietly now gone winless in their last 5. And I don't want to say they are in free fall, but I do think they're on the outside looking in when it comes to a potential European spot.
Who's that?
Everton.
Everton, yeah. Yeah, I think Crystal Palace, again, with that point, they mathematically have solidified them outside of the relegation zone. They have a European final to think about. The joke is, obviously, they still have to play Man City this Wednesday. And again, the joke again is that they have a $10 million clause, £10 million clause if Arsenal win. So the joke is if Palace can pull a draw or a win against City, they will essentially get their money early.
Yeah.
is the joke. Again, don't know what's going to happen, but again, they've solidified themselves outside of the relegation zone. Everton has essentially kind of got their foot off the gas. It was nice to see them back up where they were fighting, but I think their season's pretty much done.
No, I agree. Burnley hosting at Turf Moor against Aston Villa. A lot of teams right now are hoping that Villa finish in 5th place and also win Europa League, as we mentioned before, with the potential for a 6th team to get into Champions League. Burnley, with former Bournemouth player Jadon Anthony, scores in the 8th minute before Ross Barkley and Ollie Watkins score either side of halftime for Villa. But just after Watkins' goal, Zion Fleming in the 58th minute for Burnley. So another 2-2 draw here. Lots of...
It's just, it's another weird one because both teams are the teams that essentially have... I don't want to say they've taken their foot off the gas, but both, like, especially Villa in the last couple of games has just been struggling. And it's weird to see them again against a team that's already relegated, that's probably rotating their squad out to figure out what they're going to do for next season. To essentially draw 2-2. I mean, I do get it. Burnley is playing away, and they want to play well in their last couple of home matches. Right?
Yep.
But for Villa just to not be able to rewrite the ship in this match, this was supposed to be the match that essentially Villa could have locked in that 5th place spot.
To be fair, again, to Villa, they did play on Thursday in their European match. They had that 4-0 victory over Forest. So, there is that, it was a home match, even if it was away. It's only at Forest as opposed to going across Europe. But still, this late in the season to be playing Thursday, Sunday, it's a big wear on the body. Now back to London again. East London now. West Ham United. That's always been funny to me, by the way, that West Ham is in East London, but it is a neighborhood within London. So West Ham hosting the Arsenal, and wouldn't you know it, Arsenal left it late. A Leandro Trossard goal, 83rd minute. How many more gray hairs do you have? Although you did tell me offline that you actually shut your phone off so you wouldn't get updates anymore.
We pulled into so this is what happened. So we went to brunch. I thought the game was at 12:30. Apparently it started at 11:30. I was like, let's go to the stadium. We'll get to the stadium. We'll go inside and I'll get my brain off of it. Well, we get to the stadium and the stadium doesn't open for an hour. So what am I doing in the car? I'm looking at my phone
your own
for the next hour.
Yeah.
At about the 70th minute, right when the gates open, I told Per, I was like, I am done. I sent my ticket information to my wife, and I turned my phone off for the next 30 minutes.
Whew.
And lo and behold, as soon as I turn my phone back on, all I see from the messages is Per go 1-0 83rd, Trossard 1-1 95th. What the hell? 1-0 90,
yes.
99th or whatever it was. Goal was removed, and I'm like, what did I miss?
Yeah, so I will preface it for those of you that did not watch the match or any of the highlights. There was and I'm just gonna say this word, regardless of which side of the aisle, a dubious referee call. The goal was called, then taken back due to a foul on David Raya. In my opinion, it was the right call. But, you're always going to have, whether they're haters or just contrarians, wanting to.
In this day and age, Arsenal has more haters than fun.
Yes.
So we'll put it that way.
Yes. But yeah, so.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
It does. Again, I was listening to many people, yesterday and today talk about, the call or the no call, what should it have been. Oh my goodness. Tony Miola this morning, on the radio was, also agreeing that
Yep.
you're not even giving him the chance to get his arm up.
Well, that's the thing. Yes.
Was it a catch? Was it a punch? What was it going to be? But if you take that opportunity away from the goalkeeper by preventing his arms from moving, then yeah, it's got to be a foul. Anything beyond that, I whether it's an Arsenal player, whether it's a Man City player, whether it's we have to just look at these in black and white and make that decision based on the letter of the law. Whether you like the law or not, that's beside the point. You and I and Diego, we've talked about that, on the show and offline about the handball.
We've all had VAR decisions go for us, and we've all had VAR decisions go against us, of both of which we were both for or against.
Right.
There's no stopping it. We're at the point where I don't know. The fans can be super loud about it, but I think we're at the point where you kind of just gotta they either have to set a rule on it where the VAR has a certain amount of time within the game to figure it out.
Yeah.
Or B, the fans just have to deal with the fact that there is going to be video assisted refereeing for the rest of the time.
No, that's probably the better point, because we're not getting this out of the game.
The main issue is the reason why this is getting so much view is not necessarily the fact that it happened. It's the fact that you have, like you said, the hate watchers.
Yeah.
Right? You have fans that aren't fans of either team that are watching it to watch another team lose, and then they start getting vocal when neither of their teams were affected.
Yeah, I think also a big factor in the chaos with this is the fact that it was in the 95th minute.
Correct.
If that happened in the 14th minute of the game, would it be a talking point? Probably. But would it have the weight that it does here? Absolutely not.
And I feel like that might be why it took a little bit more time. Because, again,
you want to get it
the
right.
call
This
right.
literally is it.
It's the final call of the game. It is a very important game for both sides.
Yeah.
And that was the thing.
Sorry, my microphone stand is acting up. I might look to upgrade these for the World Cup. Who knows? All right, the last match of the Premier League match week literally just finished up about 45 minutes ago. It was the Monday match, Tottenham Hotspur hosting Leeds United. Leeds, I believe before this match, were officially safe based on other results that happened. So they have no way of getting relegated. Spurs, on the heels of a few good results here. Let me see. They were 4 points in their last 2 matches. Right? Do I have that right? No, sorry. They won two straight matches. Let me just make sure I have the right. Yeah. So 2 straight wins, 3 straight unbeaten. Heading into this match, Matthias Tell in the 50th minute to put them up 1-0, and then I'm going to say unfortunate. It was clearly a foul. There was no intent on it from Tell, but a high boot into the head of Ethan Ampadu for a 74th minute penalty, cleanly converted by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who again is making another case for himself to be in the World Cup squad possibly. And that's how it ended. Although there were 13 minutes of stoppage time where both you and I, who were watching the match, had no idea where that number came from. Even the pundits thought that was a bit curious, and it felt like the field was on a hill because Tottenham, I think, had 6 corners in those last 13 minutes.
Well, you do remember the 2 misses from Leeds within that time too.
Well, not an incredible save from Kinski.
Save, and then the ball went across the face of goal.
Ball, but you're right.
Both ways,
but after that, it was like downhill.
Yeah.
For a neutral, it was a great game to watch. Obviously, Spurs are desperate for wins, not just points.
Yep.
They did get a point, but they will probably feel that they could have / should have done better. As it stands, they are now 2 points above the drop.
Yep.
Let's call it 3 because I can't see any scenario in which West Ham makes up that goal differential. They have Tottenham are at -9, where West Ham are at 20. So really, that 2 points for all intents and purposes is 3 points.
The question here is, are West Ham fans going to be more happy with that result, or are Tottenham fans going to be more nervous with that result? Like with the 2 games remaining.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Like so West Ham go to Newcastle next?
So West Ham,
they go to Newcastle
at Newcastle and then home against Leeds.
And then
Spurs are
Chelsea
at
and
Chelsea,
Everton.
home against Everton. I would have to say that Spurs are probably more nervous now.
Yeah.
I think they have the tougher fixtures, although Chelsea, who knows what's going on there.
Yep.
I think those are tougher fixtures collectively than Newcastle and Leeds.
Again, West Ham did get a rough result in the last game. However, again, they're still only 2 points back of Tottenham. A win and a Tottenham loss get them, essentially, they switch places.
All right. So with that being said, after 36 match days complete, with the exception of Man City Crystal Palace, this will be the last, by the way, last Monday we can say that because they will be playing. Here's how it stands. Arsenal, first place on 79 points. Man City on 74 in second, obviously with that match in hand. Yep. United in third on 65. Liverpool fourth on 59. Villa in fifth, also on 59. Bournemouth on 55 points in sixth place. Brighton in seventh on 53. Brentford eighth on 51. Chelsea ninth on 49. Also on 49 in 10th is Everton. Over to the second half of the table, Fulham in 11th on 48. Sunderland in 12th, also on 48. Newcastle in 13th on 46. Leeds in 14th on 44. Palace also on 44, but in 15th place. Forest on 43 in 16th place. So let's see. That gives them... So I think Forest are now safe as well. So it's literally just... right?
Well, yeah, and goal differential safe.
Well, because Forest, West Ham can have a max of 6 more points, which would put them at 42.
42.
So,
oh,
yeah.
sorry. I thought that said 38.
Nope, all good. So Forest are completely safe. Tottenham in 17th on 38. West Ham in 18th on 36. Burnley in 19th already relegated on 21. And Wolves in 20th already relegated on 18.
Yes.
So there you have it. 2 match weeks left, plus the Crystal Palace Man City game, and that will be it for the Premier League table. So as it stands right now, we will be taking a quick break. We'll be right back with 100 Miles to Home. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. I am here beside Naz. My name is Dave, and we are here for 100 Miles to Home now, our coverage for all things local professional soccer here in the greater New York State area. 2 MLS games in action. We'll head out to Chicago for the first one. And the New York Red Bulls back to winning ways. A 3-1 victory in Chicago against the Fire. 45th minute goal from Jorge Ruvalcaba. 49th minute from Cade Cowell as he looks to get back into stride. And then 81st minute, a penalty from Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting before a Hugo Kuipers goal in the 87th for the 3-1 final. Again, we've talked week in, week out. I hate to beat a dead horse with this, but Red Bulls with this young squad, with this young manager in Michael Bradley, will continue to be just feast and famine, up and down, nobody knowing what to expect necessarily. But it's good to see that they are able to bounce back and get these victories. Yeah. Elsewhere in New York City, this one was on Mother's Day yesterday. They hosted Columbus Crew, who they will also be playing next week in the U.S. Open Cup. But a hat trick from Hannes Wolf, goals in the 12th, 16th, and then 66th minute.
Impressive.
And he could have had a couple more, honestly. Yeah. He had a couple other good chances in the first half that the backline did well to prevent, but Columbus did not look like they brought their A game with this one. So as it stands there, NYCFC back into respectability in 7th place on 15 points. Red Bulls also on 15 points in 9th place due to their
sitting in their normal comfortable positions of mid-table.
Due to their -9 goal differential for the Red Bulls.
Well, like you said, baby Bulls. They're either really hot or really, really cold.
Yeah. Now to the women's side, NWSL, Gotham FC level with Boston Legacy. This match was at Sports Illustrated Stadium. Second consecutive match that Jaden Shaw has scored. Her 37th minute goal opened the account. And then Alba Canyo. That's a weird... And I did check. It does have the tilde on it. But 40th minute, so just 3 minutes after the Gotham goal, Boston Legacy do get one back. And the expansion team is finally starting to, get rolling here. We talked last week. They got their first win. So now consecutive unbeaten streak on their way. To the Gainbridge Super League, Brooklyn FC's women. This was their penultimate match. They have one more match left, I believe. Lexington SC at home, 3 against Brooklyn FC's 1. Goals all in the first half, 2 from Mackenzie Weiner in the 39th and 45th, sandwiching a Catherine Barry goal in the 44th. Rebecca Cook for Brooklyn did score in the 69th and then missed a penalty. I believe that was the 85th minute for Brooklyn. So they are not doing so well this year. They will miss out on the playoffs. USL Championship, Brooklyn FC hosting Loudoun United FC, and a Thorlefor Ulferson goal in the 26th minute. Yes, I believe that is how you pronounce that. I messed up where it was. But yeah, 26th minute goal for them, and Brooklyn on the men's side also continuing to struggle a little bit. Over to USL League One, the Cosmos did not play this weekend, but Fort Wayne FC did take a 1-0 victory at home to Westchester SC.
Yes.
That was a Tyg Healy goal in the 35th minute for Fort Wayne. So coming up for them is a big match for Westchester that we'll talk about later as we go into what's on tap. Not a huge week.
Seem to be on the what do they call the we don't really have a good we're on the famine side.
Yeah.
We're on the famine side of the things now that most of the European leagues are wrapping up. You got a lot of the leagues that are ending, right? You got the Italian league have declared their winner. You got the La Liga have announced their winner.
Yep, yeah, that was actually we should have talked about that a little bit.
Barcelona beating Barcelona 2-0.
A 2-0 victory, and that is the first time in Clásico history that a Clásico has decided the title. So, by virtue of Barcelona's 3 points against Real Madrid, Barcelona has won the title again, their second consecutive one. Anyway, what's on tap? Wednesday, we do have a bit of a doubleheader here for the Citizens.
Yes.
A 3 p.m. kickoff. Manchester City hosting Crystal Palace. That is the aforementioned remaining match that will bring everything level in terms of matches played for everyone in the league. And then in the evening, during our trivia night, NYCFC will be traveling to Charlotte for their match. So both of those matches will be live on TV right here in the tap room. I don't know that we'll have this one on TV, but Friday afternoon, Aston Villa Liverpool is definitely going to be a good match to watch. That is 4th place against 5th place on the heels of everything else that's going on with the European places. Saturday morning, 10 a.m., we will be opening for Chelsea Manchester City for the FA Cup final. Chelsea has been designated as the home side, but this is a neutral site at Wembley for this match. And then Saturday evening, we will not have the watch party here in the tap room due to a ticketed event, but the Hudson River Derby at Sports Illustrated Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Red Bulls hosting NYCFC. So,
yes.
So where we don't have a lot of quantity of matches, we do have some huge matches here. Then going into Sunday, 2 amazing derbies, and I forgot we have the Brighton match as well on Sunday. But 9 a.m., the Eternal Derby, Roma hosting Lazio. And that one is, for those of you that have never watched, Serie A, this is a great derby match to be watching.
Roma looking to keep their unbeaten streak too, right?
Yeah, and looking to keep pace for Europe as well.
Can you imagine going undefeated and not winning your league?
You mean like Benfica?
And Roma?
Yeah.
Oh, Benfica, right? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. I forgot that Mourinho no longer coaches at Roma. He's the Benfica coach.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So let me see. And then, so Brighton will be at Leeds at 10 a.m. on Sunday the 17th before a French derby. We have Paris FC hosting Paris Saint-Germain. So Paris v PSG. Great derbies all around. plenty of fodder for us to do our predictions for the second to last week of the regular season within England. So yeah, a lot of good matches. If you are not watching them here in the tap room, by all means, we want you to be watching matches at home, at bars, wherever it is, at friends' houses, the whole nine. One for the road. Naz, you have anything for us?
As you know,
as we know,
AEK have been crowned champions of the Greek Super League.
Yes.
After a 94th minute goal. So let's put it this way. PAOK and Olympiacos finished 15 minutes prior to the AEK game finishing. They tied 1-1, which means if AEK pull out the win, they had won the league. It was 1-0 Panathinaikos early on. AEK goes on to tie it, and then the 90th plus 4, a Mario goal in 90 plus 4, winning it for them. And I think it was one of the first times in Super League history that the league was won on a last-minute goal.
Incredible.
Yeah, the fans obviously stormed the field at the end, party throughout the streets of Greece and Athens, because AEK is located on the outskirts of Athens. You had they announced that the fans after the celebrations stayed in the stadium singing for the entirety of the night, to the point where the players actually came back out and started celebrating.
That's great.
With them.
They
grabbed flags.
That's why we're fans.
Yeah.
Obviously, anytime we talk about fans, it's often violence or racial abuse or stuff like that. So to see a well-behaved group of fanatics, and I'm sure there were some idiots in there too, but to see that and to have the team come back out and be applauded by their supporters is incredible.
Your ex-Milan man, Jovic, putting in a...
Luka Jovic
he is the first player ever to put 7 goals past Panathinaikos in a season.
Nice.
7 goals in a season.
I'm sure they love him down there.
He had, what is that, 17 goals? I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you look him up? I don't know how many goals he had on the season.
Let me see. Luka Jovic.
16 goals on the season, yeah.
That's a good year for him.
Yeah.
I think he had waves of greatness with Milan, and not to say that because currently Milan can't find their way out of a paper bag, but I think there is certainly a step down in terms of quality from the rest of the Greek league to Serie A, and he's found a spot where he can be successful and he's loved by his team. So I'm always thrilled to have these players with their kind of quote unquote redemption arcs.
Yeah, AEK had a successful season. They got knocked out in, I think it was the quarterfinals of the Europa League from RAYO. Conference League.
Rayo Vallecano. Yep.
Yeah. Who I think is in the final now.
They are in the final.
Palace?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they made it to the semifinals of the Greek Cup. And then again, they win here with two matches still remaining. They still have to play PAOK and they still have to play Olympiacos.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll be rubbing it in their faces.
Yeah, that'll be great for them.
Play, yeah.
All right, I actually have 2 for the road. One from the other day and one that just got announced earlier today. But my first one, it's a former Arsenal player.
Yeah.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has been dropped from Marseille's squad for their match coming up this weekend against Le Havre. He was playing a prank on a staff member of Marseille, and his prank was to spray him and his belongings with a fire extinguisher. So the manager of the squad, the manager of the squad has suspended him from traveling with the club to Le Havre for their next match. And then my other one...
what's going on with Marseille? Like, they've dropped a lot of their players. What is it? They brought in the other Arsenal player on loan and didn't even... They played him for like 5 matches.
That I don't... I don't recall. Well, they've had a lot of back and forth loans from like Brighton players because De Zerbi was there. They had, and we're not going to...
Mason Greenwood got dropped.
I was going to say, we're not going to say one thing one way or the other, but Mason Greenwood has had a bit of a time there, both good and bad. But my other one for the road is a bit of a sad story for the U.S. national team hopefuls. Atletico Madrid have announced Monday, that's today, that United States midfielder Johnny Cardoso will undergo surgery to repair damage to his right ankle. Cardoso suffered, and this is quotes directly from ESPN, and by a statement from the club, Cardoso suffered a traumatic injury during training last Thursday that resulted in a high-grade sprain involving joint damage. So Atleti's announcement made no mention of the World Cup, and a U.S. soccer spokesperson said the federation was in the process of obtaining additional information, but the upcoming surgery is almost certain to prevent Cardoso from taking part in the tournament.
I think that's the other issue that we're hitting right now is a lot of these leagues have 2 to 3 more games left to play, and you're putting these guys with World Cup aspirations back out onto the field with we're almost a month away.
Well,
we're at what, 32 days, 38 days? I don't. How many days are we to the opener?
28.
So we are
29.
So we are under. So we are less than a month away from the World Cup, and you still have you're still putting these World Cup players who have aspirations to play.
No, you got it, because this is why you'll start to see, especially in a World Cup year, where some of the players my knee hurts, or they're a little bit unfit and unable to play or train if their team again can't make a Champions League final or can't win the league or aren't battling relegation.
That's the other thing too. Now is you also have teams that are fighting at the top and the bottom of the leagues.
Yep.
Like example, right? West Ham is Watkins.
Ollie Watkins.
Player? Yeah. Like he has aspirations to play for England, but he still has 2 games to play that are important for his club. Within that month.
Yeah, I will say there's nothing like solidifying your role, with the England squad by scoring in a final, with all eyes on you. So there is that. But at any rate, we are actually exactly at 1 hour. That's going to do it for us this week. Please make sure you stop in Wednesday or on the weekend for our watch parties. But maybe more importantly, give us a like, follow, and share. Subscribe, but share all our videos.
Turn on your notifications.
Yes, turn on the notifications as well. Diego made a great point about that last week.
Come join us in chat.
Make sure you're doing that on YouTube, on Twitch. If you're just a listener, make sure you're doing that on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just for social medias, make sure you hop into our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and new TikTok accounts. I am releasing a short video each and every day for every team in the World Cup. Tonight will be team number 20, Curacao. So,
very nice.
Do I have that right? I think I have it right. Some of them I'm recording a couple at a time. So, where I think I'm on track with something, I might be a day or 2 off. So, no. So Curacao would be day 17. Should be day 17. Or 18. Either way, Curacao is up tonight. Make sure you give it a listen. Very informative. Quick little fun fact that will be discussed in that video. They are the smallest nation ever to qualify for a World Cup, both in terms of size and population.
San Marino would only dream of.
I know. And if you break down their total population as a ratio, 1 in 6,000 Curaçaoans are going to be at the World Cup on the squad.
On the squad. So there's only 6,000 Curaçaoans.
There are one for every 6,000.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say you can fill an entire NFL stadium with Curaçaoans.
Well, their population is about 155,000.
What does MetLife see?
MetLife is like 80 or 90. Oh, but you go to some of these bigger college stadiums.
What's the largest stadium in the world? Is it Azteca in Mexico?
Azteca, I think it's like. And a lot of these change based on whether it's a concert or a sporting event. I want to say Azteca has had as high as like 130. So yeah, almost the entire nation of Curacao could fit in the stands.
The Rungrado 1st of May Stadium in Pyongyang, North Korea, is designed for 150,000 modern estimates.
I'm sure I'm sure the entire population of Curacao would love to attend a game at North Korea. But on that note, thank you guys very much. Diego, I hope you're feeling better. I hope your voice is back. I can't believe you're not hanging out in chat. Nas, thank you once again for a great Monday evening show. And we will see you either right here upstairs at the watch parties or right here again Saturday morning for the pour over. Thanks, guys.